we are talking about tech and marketing drama for coaches. Didn't put that on the title, but that's what it's about. So something that we see a lot in eSchool and with our clients is getting caught up in the lead gen, the tech, the email, all of the tangled tech, I'll call it. And it's like the second step to niche drama, would you say? Like niche drama is the first, because you can't really get into the tech drama until you actually know what your niche is. And then, so I just want you to know that it's just the shit your brain comes up with to stop you from moving forward. And in eSchool, we absolutely 100% help you grow your business and the tech. So Malerie is our tech and integrator specialist, system integrations. And Emily helps with Canva and design and branding and all these things, whether it's DIY or done for you. And guess what? They still have drama. They still have, and we do it for them and with them. Still have drama. Mm-hmm. All right, take it away. I'm going to go ahead and sit right here quietly.
I have something to say about this. So I want to like give some validation to what actually comes up, because I totally understand. And something that I had to work through myself was that helping people set up things online when I'm in a different generation from those people who did not grow up with this I get it now. It's different. If you didn't grow up having tech in your hand and working through it to have an understanding of how it works, then it is harder. I get that. So that's why we have tech, like one-on-one tech setup built into eSchool, to get that part out of the way so that you can like calm down the nervous system and say, oh, it's actually working, so that then you can then take the next step. And then we have ongoing office hours to help you when things come up. But the thing that I see happening is that if you don't understand, like if you cannot visually see, like in this computer screen, you can't visually see, like this person comes in and then they sign up on this form and then they go to here. Like you can't see the visual workflow of what's happening in the tech. I can now because I've done it so many times. And so we've created visuals to show that. But when you're getting started and you're like freaking out because you've never done it before, that is the thing that like a lot of people freeze up on. So I totally get that, because I do that same thing in other areas where things that I haven't done before. But that's why we have like the steps in the process, and it actually works. Like it'll work if you just stay with it. The nervous system will calm down. We'll get you the help that you need. And then you'll be able to take the next step and realize, oh, okay, I can do this. And like, I like seeing like our clients, oh, they're like, okay, I'm going to show you how I did this. And then they're actually doing it on their own. So they learn how to do it on their own. And then they feel so much more confident because they're like, oh yeah, I can go and change it, or I can go and send this email, or I can go and set up this new email opt-in and connect an email sequence. Like no problem. Like that's the fun part, is whenever you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. Thank you. Let me go and do that right now. Like that's what gets the momentum going.
I love that. You brought something up, because whenever you first started, I don't think you could see that, right? Because it was so easy for you, but now you've seen it hundreds of times, including with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, can you come send this Excel spreadsheet? Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I can't find it. I save it. I don't know where it goes. It's all disappeared. Like, so we still have a missing training. We still don't know where it's at. Like, and so I was like, just get rid of everything. Right. And let's just start over. And now we have no like database. But what I wanted to bring up is, wouldn't you say that you experiencing your own nervous system response and realizing what's happening in the body brought this to your awareness, and really like you were able to drop into some compassion and understanding? Because what's hard for us, I'm going to say us, with tech and social media, is we don't know what any of that is. Like, I don't know what that is. And I'm in a community that I'm paying to help grow, to scale our business. And they're asking me for things, and I'm answering, but it's not what they want, because they're speaking about something I have never seen before. I've never scaled to $50 million. How would I know about that system? How would I know I don't even know what that is. I was like, how do I spell that? Like, what is that? And so now I have compassion for my clients who don't understand what a lead gen is or an email sequence, but only because I'm in the position. So if we as leaders don't keep growing, we kind of become a little arrogant and a little egotistical and a little like we want to like them to get it faster, quicker, because we want them to be us because we think they know what we know. Would y'all agree to that? How has that experience been for you, just so that others will understand that we do get it?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
It took a lot of like being in a situation where I didn't know something and recognizing that I was having a freak out moment, like that fight or flight nervous system response and being able to actually use the tools that I have to work through that. And then so that I didn't freeze up or I didn't like run away from it and just stayed with it. Because if I hadn't done that before and like earlier on in the program, before I had done that, I didn't understand what was happening for them. And I was like trying to keep going with it and they were freaking out. Mm-hmm. And so I can assume that did not help them.
Can we talk about what's actually happening? So I think this is important for new business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, especially with social media. Like it's such a big trigger for people. What it actually feels like. Like this is, for those who are just chiming in, this is a very important part of all of the work that I do, is I bring in the mind body, like really understanding what's viscerally happening, what's happening with the brain, how your brain is shutting down. Malerie, did you have access to the problem solver, to the part of you that could take a next step? What did you actually feel like? Like what was happening? What were you thinking? How was that experience?
I don't remember exactly what was going on and what I was trying to work on, but I got to a point where I was really confused and I couldn't think.
That's
like my brain was frozen. And usually I'm like trying to figure out how to understand the next thing. I could not think. Like yesterday when I was talking to you, I was like, I'm talking in circles. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Like I can't think. I'm just need to go take a break.
How would you describe, like if you were to explain this to your doctor of what was happening inside of your head, how would you describe it? Because I really believe if people understood that you literally don't have access to your brain.
How do I describe it? I felt frozen. I just felt really confused. And
what was your mind doing? So your brain was frozen, the access that you needed. What was your mind doing?
I felt like inside of my head, I was like, huh? That's what I felt like I was doing. What? Huh? What? And then I was just like, That's what I felt like was happening in my head. Like me in my head was doing that. And this was yesterday, so I remember it.
It's really interesting. So we use a lot of tools in the mind-body connection world. We use something called R3 personality testing. We use human design. We really bring in a lot of understanding ourselves. And we know that when Malerie goes into dysfunction, that her driver just does woof. She just like leaves the vicinity. She doesn't take action. We can tell she doesn't talk anymore. She quits contributing she has no ideas. Like it's kind of obvious on the outside. And she kind of like buffs up, like she just holds it all in. And it's like, oh, here he comes. Here he comes. And then she starts like the middle of the butterfly. She just starts like melting. It's really interesting. I wish I could like video the process. And if you didn't have, like if transparency wasn't our first core value and we wouldn't have trust and loyalty and right as our core values, could you guys even work anywhere else now? Like that we have all this, because we are like healing in the process of growing and learning because it's available here. You don't get like fired. You don't get like, you're out the door. This is over. We're just like, how can we defrost this? Like, should we turn on the heater? Like, do you need a massage? Like, should we have a conversation? And what's happening is we see this with all of our coach training clients too. They go from being that caterpillar into this like time slows like that, right? It's like those movies where it just gets all distorted. And then your eyes, you think your mind's moved, but your eyes are like, oh, this is about me. Because I'm talking, it's all of us. When we did Belief Boot Camp in New Orleans, every person who told me how amazing it was, this is what they said. Watching someone physically transform in front of my eyes, and their like everything, their characteristics changed like me watching. That's what was happening. That's what is happening. You were just in the, like, we didn't go all the way through. And because sometimes that takes days or weeks, like we can't control that. It depends on, it's a mechanism. So your brain is like you press into the keyboard and your brain just does what you say. Your mind reflects. And so what's happening is the part of your brain that takes the next step was locked out. And the mind was like trying to go, but it couldn't grab anything. And so it's this really weird dynamic. And if you are a new coach and you're either in niche drama or tech drama, this is what is happening. It is not about you. It's that you don't understand that the most powerful organ in your body is your mind, is your brain, and you ain't got it. Like you can't even, she was like, I don't even know what to look up. Like, checked out. How about you, Emily? We'll get off of Malerie for a moment.
Poor Malerie. Yeah, I always say this when coaches are like, I'm not techie. I don't know any of this stuff. And like, they just wear that hat of, I'm not that person. It's like when I say, I'm not a math person. I always remind people like, I am techie. And I still get so frustrated with tech when it doesn't work the way I want it to. I remember it was back in 2020. I was trying to set up my website and switch domains and things like that. And I had to go to the DNS server, and I was like, it just wasn't working. I was following all the steps and it didn't connect. And I was like, oh my God, like I was ready to smash my laptop, and I had to physically walk away and like calm my nervous system down because I got so angry. And so I guess where Malerie kind of freezes and shuts down, I go into like, I'm going to figure this out. And I like overdo it until I get so frustrated and angry. And then I know I have to just walk away so that I can get access to the brain again, like go take a walk or go work on something else to totally shift the neurons to something different so they can free up again. I remember being in that place and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be this like professional coach. And I used to work in IT and I'm from corporate. Like I should know all this stuff. And I was getting more and more mad, but I couldn't figure it out. Like I'm supposed to know. And so I can tell there's people who are like, I don't even know what y'all are talking about. And they freeze or they shut down. And then there's people like me who are like, I should know, I should be able to get this. Why is it still so hard for me? Because we have a whole variation of levels of experience with tech in our community. And it will hit everybody at some point because that is technology. It even for the highest minded IT people I've worked with in corporate IT, they still got frustrated and would run off and blow off steam because some things just don't work the way they're supposed to. You have to reset, you have to shut down, restart everything. And that includes your brain. Like just walk away, go do something else, and then come back when you're calm again.
What I love is how the experience humbles us. And then we're open to more patience, more awareness, more like that. I think it's such an asset that I don't want anyone to run from it. I sure don't want anyone to hide it. We welcome it. Like, let's do this. Like, it's such a beautiful tool for our clients, for us. I mean, I cried on our call yesterday. It's like moving through my own stuff in a very humbling way. It's like, it's a beautiful way because it's receivable. It's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when everything's always going right, our mind just goes to 90 because it's all going right. You don't have to stop and figure anything out. And I think it's interesting that, like, we know the team, our team, and who works better under pressure and not under pressure. Because Monique, we just pressure that girl and she goes into driver mode. She goes sign up client. She gets things done. She just like checks out and moves into the fast lane. Malerie just shuts down. And I bounce between. It depends on what it is. Sometimes I am completely out. I shut completely out. And other times, and I'm curious about you with this, Emily, other times, like, I do have the ability to check out and go into driver, but it's bypassing. For me, it's bypassing. But it's a great asset. I mean, we kind of want that.
When I feel the pressure, and I know this comes from my past of surviving and having to do things on my own and make my own money. Like, I just have this, I guess, this stability now. Like, I will figure this out. I trust myself that I'm going to figure it out. So honestly, nowadays, I don't necessarily go into like a freak out mode. I will just, okay, what do I need to do? Make a list. Nice. Start working down. I can actually calm myself down to take the next step. When it comes to work, when it comes to like relationships and parenting, I still can either completely shut down and want to escape or go into attack mode. So yeah, there's still work to be done there. But with work, I have that experience. Like, you know what? This is all figure outable. At some point, we'll get this done. I'll Google it, ask somebody. I know how to get the resources I need. Whereas before, I think I had more shame about shoulding on myself. I should figure this out by now.
Yeah. Well, and you have, and we can post this below if anyone's interested in it, but you have the Take Fiver. This is actually it, right? This is the process. Yeah. And it's someone, again, I had another request to respond to this morning, in the 10-week intensive, mind body intensive, we go through all this, the layers, and like really understanding the nervous system and creating safety and how to tap in, to have those resources. And someone asked me again this morning about, listen, I can't, like, can you just put that somewhere where I can just go buy it and do it myself? And I think that's something we're going to work on to make sure that it gets out there. That would be a segue into come in and to do the work, because once you have that understanding, you'll realize she didn't have access to her tools. You can't. Did you? Let me just ask you. I know I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Would you have like, oh, I know exactly what to do. Like you're like, where is my brain?
My brain was gone. It was not in my head. Like I didn't have access to anything. Like I was looking at you and I was like, bye, I gotta go. My brain's gone and my body's going too. I can't talk right now. Like I literally walked away and said, I can't talk right now. I'm talking in circles. I don't make sense.
Doesn't it feel terrible? It feels
yes.
Terrible. I dump on Emily. I'm like, hey, got to get this. I'm just like going to go in circles and say a bunch of stuff. It's not going to make sense. Maybe you can put it together for me. If not, could you just listen? It's like,
that's why I really like, I am a big proponent of like, I know we have to change our thoughts and how we believe, but in the moment, changing your state of being and changing up the location, shaking it out, like moving around, because if you just stay staring at your computer, it will not work. The ideas do not just magically pop up. You have to change something and go get your creative juices flowing. And solving tech problems, setting up email sequences, that requires a certain level of creative fire or juice. You cannot just go down your to-do list and do these things. You have to have that reserve of creativity and energy and like drive to make it happen. There's certain times I know I cannot work on technical stuff. And I'm like, nope, it's not time yet. I don't even try. I'll get frustrated.
I know.
What did I tell you to do, Malerie?
What did you tell me to do?
Yesterday. Do you not remember?
No. Did you tell me to do something?
Yes. When you said that, you were doing, I don't even know what I'm saying. I said, could you like go boxing, beat the shit out of something, go for a run? Can you go do something that's going to cause you to use your physical body? Like,
oh,
you didn't even hear me.
That might be why I was feeling like later that like I had something to do, that I had to sit in a chair for like 3 hours last night. And I was just like shaking in my body. And I was like, why am I so nervous right now? Like, I didn't think that what I was doing, and I was trying to like make myself have a thought. I was like, is it because of this? Is it because of this? So I was like trying to assign a thought to why I was feeling that way. Maybe that's not what it was, because I'm not used to feeling like that. Yeah.
Then can I explain this in Kim's terms? So the energy, imagine, it's congested, like energy just flows, but there's like it's congested. And then it hits that emotional signature. You've listened to that podcast about emotional signatures. So what happened is the situation that was going on, like I talk about, if you had a rod and reel, the hook hooked into the emotional signature, it hooked into the pattern. And then it went into this robotic kind of thing, this autopilot of this is when I should panic. This is when I should be, this is like, so you were in that. If you were a dog or a cat or like an animal that had done this, it would have gone shake itself off. Just start watching animals. It'll go, and the cat will, right? It moves it. Instead of when we stop, it just stays and then it spins in it and it intensifies. And so I said, go walk, go hit, go put the music on. Tony Robbins would say, change the state of being. So for me, it might look like, hopefully not throwing my phone against the wall and putting a hole in it, but it's something, right? That definitely shook me because now my brain had a problem to solve and it forces your brain to come on board. So if you're trying to run up a mountain or if you're trying to like get to the stop sign, you have now given your brain something to do by force. Because remember, it always wants to protect safety. So protect and be safe. So if you can find it's something, that's why we tried, like when we were doing the coaching, it's like we find the safety first. And then I ask the questions. Y'all notice that? I never inquire until we did 2 calls on this yesterday. And so it's like really understanding that, but I don't think most of us understand the way that works, and it comes through experience. So I don't care if they have a doctorate degree. I don't care if they saw it in a lab or an x-ray or a scan, whatever. I swear it doesn't. It doesn't make sense because we learn through experiencing. We don't learn through knowledge. Words don't teach. We actually learn through experiencing. And I have so much experience in that unresolved trauma that so many, and there's an alert system inside of me that I've had to overcome in so many different ways because I'm very experiential. I put myself in a lot of situations. And so now I can only explain, I probably definitely would get kicked out of a conference if I was trying to talk, this, because I'm like, this is what's happening in your body. I don't give a shit what you put in the textbook. Because you can't even read the textbook, so that don't help nobody. You got to gain control. What's the book say? Power and control. You had no control and you had no power. It's crazy how this just keeps coming up again and again and again and again, right? But without context, we don't have understanding is what the whole point of what I was trying to say. So you didn't have context to understand why would you go move? Why would you go box? Why would you go do something different? Because you were like, I don't feel like doing that. I won't do that. I don't even know how to do that. I could jam out on this like all day. Sylvia says, shaking it out reminds me of Kim showing us how animals shake it out at Belief Boot Camp. I use that and my husband laughs at me. Yeah. It's beautiful to, like in yoga. Do you remember the last retreat we did in October? The October before when we were doing all that. That's what we were doing. Because in our live events, we're bringing all this stuff up. And if I don't give them access to release it, then they're going to walk out like you walked out yesterday, which you were sitting in panic for hours because it didn't move through the body. And that, I think it's so fascinating. So
this is why we're now, like, in schools and in the workplace, we are seeing this need for the human body to flush out what's happening in their learning style and their working style. A lot of us would do our one-on-one meetings with our managers as a walking meeting, go walk around the block and talk, because it creates that safety. Like, we're on the same side, we're walking and doing something together. It's not this like, let's sit down and have this corporate meeting. And that's what we're coming up against when we have these new clients in eSchool. They're either coming from, I have no experience in the corporate world, I don't know what any of this means, to I have corporate trauma and I don't want to recreate that. And so they're like, you're telling me to do all of this stuff and I don't know how to do it. I'm going to get fired and they're going to think I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be a coach. I'm in this group and people are judging me. Like, Malerie, that one time you said one of our clients was like asking you the question exactly, like, immediately after you gave the answer to the question. And later she's like, I watched the replay and I feel like a dum-dum because I asked you the exact question you just taught, but she could not hear it.
That's right.
Because she was in her own whatever mode, and we just have to recognize that we are working with humans, with human brains, and we're not all going to be super amazing at tech. You're learning something new.
And I think recognizing that we specialize in this, like, we are specialists of the new business owner, the new coach, the new entrepreneur, because of this one thing. This is what sets me apart from anyone else, is understanding how, when they're like pulsating at the gate, can't open the end, and this is happening, I have mastered the tool to release that. And like I was telling you this morning, like my mission is to get that in the hands of more people for themselves, their families, and society, because it's so simple. It's so simple to do once you have the understanding, but we can't do it for ourselves. You can't, because you don't have access, not because you're a dum-dum, but because you don't have access. And chances are you haven't been transparent, which is our first core value. And so you're just beating yourself up about it. And then you're checking out. Most people shut down. They don't go into driver mode. Luckily, we have Emily and Monique, and they go into driver mode. So it balances out me and Malerie when we are frozen. But it's just, and it might not always be that way, by the way. Like the mechanism does change.
It's very interesting for you to explain it like that, because I was really confused last night when I was like, I should not be so nervous right now. Why am I so nervous?
It's like all of my concerns are vibrating in my body to get my attention so that I can release them, but my brain won't let me access the tools, and I don't know what it is, so I can't explain it, and I can't even find words. But I don't know. I just think we got a very powerful tool, which is the understanding of how all this works, and we just stay in our lane. And we just move forward with what we do know, and we just keep creating. And the more people who know this, they don't leave. They stick around. They're like, not only do I want to be a part of it, I want to like be a part of getting it out in the world. So I think, did we even cover the topic? Like, the topic was about coaches freezing up when it comes to tech, social media, growing your business, creating a lead gen. And we just want you to know that you are normal. And we don't have the understanding of what to do about it, but we do have resources. We have lots of resources. Seriously, like we have a library. We have 3 different offers, 3 different containers, coaching containers that address it in all 3.
I think it's important to, like, when you work with people like us, if you hire a coach or hire a business coach or marketing person, that we're not judging you on your lack of knowledge. We are expecting for us to teach you and to walk you through these things. So you can know that it's safe to not know what to do next. It's safe to ask questions. Yeah, we welcome it. We want to know what you don't know so we can clarify things better, make better resources. It's helpful for the whole group if your one question actually comes out and gets solved, so we can prepare and be like, wow, I didn't know you didn't know that. Great, let's work on it.
Can I ask you guys something? I know we're coming to an end, so I'll just let you in with it. When I do the raise your right hand and solemnly swear that I won't what did y'all think I was doing? Because I think you understand why I do it now. But when I first did that, did y'all have the understanding of knowing that like they basically were in that position that she's in and they go into hiding naturally? And that's what the vow is for.
I don't think I knew. Well, I didn't know anything. I think I was like this a lot, and I still don't recognize that I'm doing it when it happens in the moment.
Because I'm like so sure it's going to come up that I basically set them up for like, it's going to happen. It's going to come. It's going to happen. And then when it happens, they're like, whoop, and they don't remember that conversation. What can I do about that? Getting that conversation into the open.
Well, it's like you said, it's experiential. You can say it, but you don't know it until you experience it.
We're like, we haven't seen so-and-so for 12 days. Let's go. Like, that's what we've done. We've created a process.
Yeah. That's what I say to every one of our eSchool clients when I work with them one-on-one with their branding. I'm like, here's what's going to happen. You know what you want now. And then when we start to create it, you might get more clear on what you want. I need you to be 100% honest with me at all times. So you don't walk away 3 months later thinking, oh, I shouldn't have made her work so hard. And now I want to change everything. And I didn't really like it. I was only 80% sure, but I told her I was 100%. Now I don't know. Like, I want you to just be totally honest now so we can avoid the drama later. I don't take it personally. Let's just get it out in the open. If you don't like something, tell me now. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, of course. And I'm like, you'll be surprised what your brain will do.
Yeah, because as soon as they see it and they don't want to say it, this exact thing happens. Yes. Because of the dissonance. That's all that's happening is it's dissonance. This is we need to do a product on this. We need to do something on this. I really love it. I hope just if anyone's listening to us and you're interested, just say it was interesting or this is interesting. But I'm really blown away with watching myself now and how I think when I say something that we are all on the same page. And then we have these conversations and realize don't you think that's good for that to be in my awareness?
Yeah, we all have our different processors and we're like nodding and we're like, yeah, that sounds good. But we walk away and we're like, wait, what were the actual words that she just said? Because I don't know what to do. Like in the moment that feels good, but what is the actual information?
And the past experience is what's weighing on you. So whenever I used to reach out and say, hey, can we get on a call? Emily would think like she's getting fired. I'm calling her into the office, but that had nothing to do with me. I've never even worked in a corporate office. And the same thing with Malerie. It's like hey, can you try something like, let's go experiment with this and try something different. It was like, oh, I'm wrong. I'm bad. I need to do it better. And I'm like, where are y'all getting this from? I never said that. Why am I getting the blame for this? I used to try to figure it out. Now I realize that the mind only has the resources that it's experienced to pull from. So why wouldn't it think that until you've experienced something else? And we're a few years in, and does it still come up? Do you still feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get kind of mad about that.
Now I totally recognize like it's not you, it's not the team or anything, but I'm like, hey, Emily, you better do this better. Otherwise, like I start to talk to myself as if I'm my teachers or my family members that used to talk to me like, you better straighten up or you're going to get it. It's that kind of energy. Like, you better get this right or you're out.
And they bring that into their business, our business container and into our, they're like, I'm going to shame them. I'm going to call them out. I'm going to put them on the spot. I'm going to and I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, that's not at all what we're in now to have that awareness. Because in myself, it's when I hear a siren or see a cop car or like, And I'm like, I mean, that I see now. But the problem is when you have that emotional samskara, that signature and that pattern, then you bring it to the conversation. That's the issue. So we're just talk more about it in Self-Healing Masters. So if you guys are interested in learning more, that's where you'll find out. All right. We are right at time. So anything you want to add before we hop off?
I think we covered it all.
Whatever that conversation was.
Whatever that was.
We're going to shake it off when we get out.
Ask for help. Ask for help. Don't let it fester in the darkness. Bring it to somebody. Ask us, post it in a group. Like, don't hide and let your business die because of these thoughts and feelings.
And don't assume it's about you. Like, it's not a personal defect. Right. It's the way the mind and the body function or malfunction. Would that be a word? And it's only because we don't know what we don't know. Beautiful. Well, thank you.